Good morning. How is everybody doing? As soon as I went to go on live, I had to blow my nose. Of course. That's usually what will happen. It happens every time. Normally, I'll just blow my nose before I go live either way because my prosthesis, the way that it I don't know, the way that my tears drain and stuff. So I'm always trying to blow my nose before I come on live. That way I'm not nasally or anything. And nobody wants to hear someone sniffling the whole time they're on a live, right? So, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to see everybody's here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have some stuff we can talk about. I'm just making sure I've got everything going okay over here on my end. That way I can make sure it's good on your end. I'm trying to utilize my TV instead of using my iPad, so we'll see how that goes. We will see. Good morning to Sugar and Spice. I saw she was first one in. Can't beat that. How's everybody's morning? I'll tell you what, I need a good night's sleep. That's what your girl needs. I, for some reason, cannot get a good night's sleep to save my life. It's been a long time. I mean, I'm talking years now, but it did have, okay, I lied. It happened the other couple weeks ago. I slept in and it was excellent. I slept until I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m. I'm usually up by 5 a.m. No later than 5. This morning it was 4:15. I was like, you've got to be kidding me with life. I was 4:15. And I'm not one of those people that can go back to sleep. If I'm up, my mind is already a step ahead of me. So then it just is not good. It's not good. Hi, everybody. Isabel's there with the doggy. Good morning, Susan. 5 a.m. where you are? Oh, man. Or are you sleeping at 5 a.m.? Because that's probably you're probably sleeping at 5 a.m. I wish I was. I could probably sleep now. Maybe that's what I need. Now I feel maybe if I just need to come on live and do nap time. I think I saw someone actually do that. Did I dream that, or is that a thing where people actually stream live and they sleep? I think that's a thing that people do. And I think I'm going to have to start doing that. We'll incorporate it. It'll be our downtime. It'll be our downtime a little bit. But yeah, the weirdest thing though, I usually can sleep good in the car. I was in a horrific car accident. You would think that I would never close my eyes in another vehicle again, but it's only when Vincent drives. For some reason, when he drives and it's his vehicle, I can literally just put the seat down and fall asleep. Nap time live. I'm liking that. I heard I don't know if in all spots of Mexico, in all places, but if it's just one town, but I heard that a town or a city or whatever in Mexico, they actually shut their doors down at 12 noon. From 12 to 1, they close down and they take a nap every day for their job. Then they wake back up at 1 and everybody's happy. That's the best thing. I was we need to do that. That's what I thought. I should do that. I'm going to make sure I turned off the heat, and I want to make sure I didn't turn on the air. Or, yeah, I did. Whoops. I turned on the air conditioner. I'm that feels kind of chilly up there. Hello, Julia Ups with the smiley face. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. So I have some stuff to go over with you guys today. I was going to do 2 Nancy Grace podcasts and back to back, but what we're going to do is we're going to do today's news that's come out, with the case, and then we'll do one in Nancy Grace podcast, and then we'll do the other one later. Because there are some things that come up and I want to talk to you guys about them. So the first thing, of course, let me see. Let me actually go back. This ain't the right page that I wanted to show you. Well, it is, but it's not the right one. So let me show you this. They did send out a gag order. I don't know if you guys saw this. It came out yesterday. I wonder if I can, let me see. I don't know if I open up my MacBook, let me open up my MacBook and see if I can zoom in on the document a little bit for you. Yeah, a little bit more maybe. Not too much more. So I'll just, man, that's terrible. That's like the worst I've ever seen. And there's no way to make it bigger. Okay, so I'm just going to read it to you. It's basically, and then I'll just kind of tell you what it's about. So I'll read it to you real quick and then we'll discuss it also. But it says, there is a balance between protecting the rights to a fair trial for all parties involved and the right to a free expression as afforded under both the United States and Idaho Constitution. To preserve the right to a fair trial, some curtailment of the dissemination of information in this case is necessary and authorized under the law. Therefore, based upon stipulation of the parties and with good cause. Man, I can't even read it, guys. So basically what it is it's an order for the attorneys to kind of like stay tight-lipped. Not to go talking about the case. Don't go telling anybody about anything. So it's just pretty much it was the judge that is, I think her name's Marsha something. I can't even see her name. It's probably on the back page. But the judge in the case, she, made it a ruling that the lawyers that are involved in the cases cannot talk about the case. So I think this is just going to be one in a series of gag orders she's probably going to be releasing, I feel like. And yeah, and also family attorneys can no longer talk. So, the Gonzalez, they have their private attorney. So if he can't talk anymore about the case, he can sit there and look pretty, but he can't really talk about the case. Not to people on camera. I mean, he can talk to the Gonzalez family all they want, but I'm sure that they can discuss, things in private, but they can't discuss it publicly. But it just says, it's hereby ordered the attorneys for any interested party in this case, including the prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, and any attorney representing a witness, victim, or victim's family, as well as parties to the above entitled action, including but not limited to investigators, law enforcement personnel, and agents for the prosecuting attorney or defense attorney are prohibited from making extrajudicial statements, written or oral, concerning this case, except without additional comment, a quotation form, or reference to the official public record of the case. And then there's another page here. Let me go back. Oh, here, we'll just do this. Oh, that's the wrong page. And then, actually, let me go to the other one and read it to you so I can read that part. And then it says, the order specifically prohibits any statement which is reasonable person would expect to be disseminated. I don't know how to say that word, y'all. Disseminated. Okay, we're going to look it up. We're about to look that one up. By means of public communication that relates to let me go to the other one. And then it has just following. And then it says I don't know how to say this word, and we are going to have to spell. I'm going to put it in my phone thing. Because can't you do that on Google? It's going to be something really, it's going to be Tanya, you really didn't know how to pronounce that. Okay, let me. Dissemination. Sorry, guys. I'll be hearing that in the comment section later. So sorry. I did not say that right. It says, this order specifically prohibits any statement which is by a reasonable person would expect to be dissemination by means of public communication that relates to the following. And then the following is over here. And it says... let me make sure it's up there for you. I wish I could get this a little bit better for you guys, but it just says evidence regarding the occurrences or transactions involved in the case, the character, credibility, reputation, or criminal record of a party, victim, or witness, or the identity of a witness, or the expected testimony of a party, victim, or witness, the performance or results of any examination or test, or the refusal or failure of a person to submit to an examination or test, any opinion as to the merits of the case or the claims to the defense of a party, any information a lawyer knows or reasonably should know is likely to be inadmissible as evidence in a trial, and that would, if disclosed, create a substantial risk for prejudicing an impartial trial. Any information reasonably likely to interfere with a fair trial, in this case, afforded under the United States and Idaho Constitution, such as the existence or contents of any confession, admission, or statement given by the defendant, the possibility of a plea of guilt, or any opinion as to the defense, guilt or innocence. Okay. And then it just says, it is further ordered that no individual covered by this order shall avoid its provocations by actions directly or indirectly, but deliberately that result in violating this order. It is further ordered that this order and all provisions herein shall remain in full force and effect throughout the entirety of the case unless otherwise ordered by the court. And her name is Megan Marshall. That's the judge's name. Miss Marshall, Magistrate Judge Marshall. I guess you call her Judge Marshall. And then it was dated the 18th. Wish I would have grabbed a little bottle of water to bring in with me too. I have like a little fridge down here, but I didn't put any little waters in there for me. Yeah, they covered a lot. But none of the judges, or no, I'm sorry, not the judges, but the lawyers can't speak on it. So I feel like next is probably going to be like family. Wonder what he eats now. Oh, I don't even, if he's in jail, bread. We talked about this one day. It was like bread, bread. I don't even know. What does he like? Because he doesn't do cereal because he doesn't do milk. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, everyone, don't forget to hit that like button for your girl as you come in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel too. We are doing a I'll have to talk about the giveaway here in just a minute. Actually, I should just do it now. But I don't know what he eats. There's not a lot of things that he could really eat. They don't have a lot of meat options though. I mean, at the same time in jail, I guess he would eat like fruit, vegetables, bread. That's about it. I mean, so we did a contest. Or a giveaway. It wasn't really a contest, but it was in a way. Once we hit our 5,000 subscriber mark, I wanted to do a giveaway for you guys. So we will be doing the giveaway. Oh, actually tomorrow. I didn't even realize today was Friday. Shoot, guys. So if you want to enter the giveaway, just go to my channel and you'll see the 5,000 subscriber video, and just go to that video. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Super easy to enter. All you have to do is hashtag giveaway on a certain video. So super, super easy. And then we will do, it's going to be like a random picker thing tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Isabel said, I tried the vegan thing again, then smelled fried chicken as I passed shop. So I asked what they cooked it in. They said vegetable oil. Thought, well, it's a start. That's so funny because I was a vegetarian for like a few months. I really tried to give it a good go. And I'm a meat person, but so my boyfriend, this was 7 years ago. So my boyfriend and I went out on our first date, and I was like, what am I going to eat? And like, I'm sitting there like in my head, I wasn't going to make a big deal about it to him. And because like it was our first date, and I'm like, what am I going to eat? Because I picked the restaurant too. And I was like, they had chicken flatbread pizza, and it sounded so good, but with the chicken, but I got it without the chicken. And for the next, I'd say 4 months, all I thought about every day was flatbread chicken pizza, like to the point where I was like, I give up. Veganism, I'm out. You know, I'm done. I was like, I need it. So I was like, yeah. Hi, SRB. Oh, trying to get some stuff done. Good morning, Marilyn. Hear you there. Hear you there. Okay. So that was all I wanted to read to you guys. I hate legal documents when they're like that. Like, just just dumb it down for me a little. So yesterday on a live, we did talk about this. Also, let me make sure. Did I tell you? So I want to make sure I told you about everything before I go further. Because you know me, I'll forget. So we did hit the 5,000 subscribers. So we are doing that giveaway. So make sure you hit that video up so you can get entered. Also, when we hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll be doing another giveaway. If you are wondering, so you're like, what did she get out of this if, we get a giveaway? I get my TitaniumBuilt sign put behind me. That's what I get. I get my sign, and Vincent ordered it, and it should be here about the first or second week of February. So I'm so excited about that. So let's see here. I always hit the wrong button. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over here. So this one, we talked about this on our yesterday's live, but I want to go back over it because a lot of other creators are going over it. And so I didn't know if you guys had heard about it from me because some of you guys weren't on yesterday's live, or if you heard it from another creator and what your thoughts were on it, actually. So it says, accused Idaho killer Bryan repeatedly messaged one of the victims on Instagram. And I actually have a video I was going to show you. And then I'll just kind of go over this first. Let me see. It says, 2 weeks before the slayings of 4 University of Idaho students last November. Sorry, I was trying to read the messages in the chat too. The man now accused of killing them sent a series of messages to one of the victims on Instagram. An investigator familiar with the case tells People. In late October, an account that authorities believe belonged to Bryan sent a greeting to one of the female victims. When he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. So we kind of went over this. I'm just going to kind of give you the gist of the article. So basically on Instagram, if you guys, I'm sure everybody probably has an Instagram that's in the chat. Basically, I don't know. I use Instagram a little bit, not really anymore, but I used to use it. So you basically have 2 different inboxes. If somebody isn't following, like if you're not following somebody, but they're kind of following you, or like they say there's no connection at all, they'll go into like a hidden request kind of spot, and you have to like kind of look for the message. You don't get that like notification like you normally would if it was somebody that you follow and that follows you back. I don't know if is anyone confused by that? And if you are, I can kind of go in more detail with you about it. But I think that's kind of how the messages were getting like they were getting flushed through that that extra tab, and I don't even think they were really seeing the messages. And if they were seeing the messages, I think that personally, if they were seeing the messages, I think that if it was Maddie, she was probably like, I have a boyfriend, like whatever, didn't even like click on it. Yeah, me too. I want to see screenshots too. I'm the same way. That's why I'm like, I'm going to bring it to the table. Because the more I think about it, I do think that he was probably following maybe the girls on Instagram or something like that. But I don't know about the messaging and stuff. And I think that I don't know. He could have messaged her, but it definitely could have went into that other inbox. I know that I probably have them in mine right now. I probably have messages in there. Because I haven't been on there in a long time. But I get them from people that want me to model jewelry or something stupid. You know what I mean? If you go to your messages, I don't even know how to get to them half the time. See, you have to go over to request. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't have anything I don't want to dox anybody on here, so I don't want to put my my own personal stuff on there, but Cowboy said that's fake news in my opinion. He knew the victims and had been to that house and partied with them several times and probably bought drugs from them. And then Robin says, after reading this about the case, I went into my Instagram and found 5 messages I had no idea I had with no indication. Yep. I know I have a couple in there, and they're usually just spam or something whatever messages. But if you would have saw, who was it? Banfield? She was just she's like, look at all these. I'm like, dang, Banfield, you're a popular lady on the Instagram. But I do have a video to show you that was on News Nation last night that talked about it. Because I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it and what you guys, I mean, I think that if he did follow them on social media, I mean, do you think that he would have enough nerve to like reach out to them? Especially if he was trying to be sneaky, and let's say he was trying to like be sneaky and think of a different way. Like, okay, I'm trying to think of like too many sides of a personality. I'm thinking, what if he tried to get into the house by going to a party? He wouldn't want to like really be on their social media, like messaging them, bothering them if he was trying to be sneaky going into a party to know the layout of the house. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there's so many different theories flying around. It's hard. Oh, why did I choose the name TitaniumBuilt? I chose that name because my channel used to be a trauma channel. So we would talk about like injuries and all of that. So I literally have metal from my face all the way to my legs, to my feet, actually, to 1 foot. So I'm TitaniumBuilt. So I just thought of that name because I needed a YouTube name and it stuck. So I'll go ahead and play this for you guys, and I'll turn up the volume a little, like literally, so that way you guys don't get blasted.
We are learning more information tonight about Bryan Kohberger, the suspect in the murder of those 4 University of Idaho students, that may finally provide a connection to victims Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. People magazine reports that in the weeks before the November murders, Kohberger ate at the restaurant where 2 of the victims, Madison and Xana, worked. Quote, according to a former employee at the Mad Greek Restaurant in Moscow, Idaho, Bryan Kohberger came in at least twice to grab vegan pizza. 2 of the victims, Madison and Xana Kernodle, were servers at the restaurant. It's unclear if either woman ever waited on Kohberger or if they even interacted. People also reports that an Instagram
reporting by Steve Helling.
I wanted to share this video with you guys first. Sorry about that. I was not in the zone. I was in the zone or something. I wanted to show you this one of Ashley Banfield first, because I hadn't seen this one. This one, I believe, came out last night.
The judge in the case wants no talking at all.
I don't think I have.
Let's put a gag order on just about everyone. We have a First Amendment right. You can't gag me. You can't gag a lot of people, but the judge in the case, she can actually gag people who actually work for the court. Officers of the court, attorneys on the case, prosecutors on the case, attorneys for the families, attorneys who are tangential to the parties in this case, witnesses in this case, and a lot of people. So a tougher gag order was just issued in the last few hours, making it harder to get these details. Well, no matter. Steve Helling gets them anyway, and he joins me now. He is a senior reporter with People magazine, and he has a long history in doing crime and justice reporting, which is why he got this story. Steve, congratulations on your exclusive reporting. Really remarkable stuff. Walk me through what you found out.
Well, yes. I started speaking to, as you and I both did, we tried to reach as many people as we could who used to work at, the Mad Greek Restaurant. And, very few people wanted to talk, but I did end up speaking to somebody who worked there until recently, who said that, yes, indeed, they did see Bryan Kohberger come there a couple of times, at least twice. And the only reason why he stood out was not because he was being creepy, not because he was doing anything weird, but he's such a strict vegan that he was required.
We're going to talk about this more in a minute, but like this part, I don't get. I don't get how he could be, okay, so the owners say they never seen him, but then there's a person that works at the Mad Greek and they were like, yeah, I've seen him before. He wouldn't eat off his aunt and uncle's dishes. Remember that? Remember the pots and pans? He wouldn't eat off his aunt and uncle's pots and pans if it had meat cooked in it prior. I don't see the kid eating a pizza at the Mad Greek restaurant. Or any restaurant for that matter. I don't see him even eating at a vegan restaurant if he's that OCD about his food and where it's been. Do you think that he would be eating there? Like, I just don't know if I believe. I don't know. It's a couple people, like one person came forward at the restaurant or something like that. I know that working in a restaurant, though, you do know the people that come into the restaurant better than the owners probably do. Especially if you're a server there and you've worked there like years and years. I know that that's been with my experience with working in restaurants. I worked at a restaurant for 5 years and we knew everybody that came in there. We would be on an hour and a half wait, but you knew who Mr. and Mrs. Smith was. You know, they came every Thursday at 5 p.m. So like, but if you ask the manager, you know, do you know who these people are? They'd be like, I don't know. I think she is a witness, and witnessing certain things can mess you up, but that doesn't necessarily make you a victim. All things Paula. Oh yeah, me too, Paula Brown. Oh, me too. I was it was a car accident. That's how I got my name. So what I was thinking, maybe he went to like drink there or something. So I thought maybe this is what he did. Maybe he ordered the pizza, and he ordered the pizza, and he didn't eat it. Like he just would drink maybe a drink and kind of sit there and be that guy at the bar. Oh gosh, can you imagine? I think DM is a victim myself. Survivor. Victim and survivor. Victim will be survivor. I feel like you're a little of both when you have that happen to you. And he said he was going to go get fast food. Yeah, in the cars. Yeah, they're going to go get Thai food. Yeah, that was another thing. I was like, so do you eat off other people's pots and pans now? Because if you won't eat off your aunt and uncle's stuff, like where their stuff been? Where do they live? Isn't this so weird? Okay, I'm going to start playing it again. Sorry.
Requiring that he wanted to make sure that all of his food had not come in contact with animal products. So that's why he stood out, because he had a special request with his order. And yes, you know, he was there. We don't know who waited on him. We don't know if that's where he met, you know, a couple of the victims, but we know that he at least went there to eat a couple of times.
And we know that Maddie and Xana Kernodle and Manny Bogan were both servers at that restaurant. We can also say this, Steve's work is particularly good because many of the folks who work at the Mad Greek Restaurant have met together and agreed as a unit not to speak to the press. They've also been asked by the police not to speak to the press. So the person that you spoke with was somebody who is just outside of that circle, who had just worked there and clearly still had this intelligence, but wasn't sort of bound by that that codified agreement that they all had together. But here's what's interesting. I think it was an aunt or an uncle or maybe a couple of aunts of Bryan Kohberger who said many weeks ago that one of the strange personality traits that their nephew had was that he did not want to eat out of any pots that had once been used to even cook meat. So he had that tendency in the family in Pennsylvania that his vegan diet was so strict, he had to have new pots. They bought new pots and pans if he was going to be coming for dinner. So this kind of is in line with what this employee was telling you.
Yeah, I mean, things start lining up, and the more they line up, the clearer the picture gets. And so, yeah, that doesn't mean that he was doing anything weird at this restaurant. It just stood out. Just, anybody who's waited tables, I did it in college. I still remember people who stood out because they had strange things. And that's what happened here.
So I want to ask you about the messaging in just a moment, but I'm looking at your piece, and I'm actually looking at the Reddit account at the same time that allegedly belongs to Bryan Kohberger. If you do a lot of the side-by-side comparison, one of the Reddit accounts called Inside Looking, many have pointed to the fact that this appears to be Bryan Kohberger, and the person who goes under the handle Inside Looking insisted that M+X were the killer's targets. That would be Maddie and Xana, who both worked at the Mad Greek Restaurant. So once again, the pieces start to line up. Yeah. Back to the Mad Greek, what was it that he was ordering there? Because you never know. There could be a small detail that speaks volumes.
He was a vegan, and they are one of very few restaurants in the area that serve vegan food. And from what everybody says, it's the best place if you're a vegan. So he was getting vegan pizza.
I did want to point this out as a server at a restaurant. I don't know if anyone else has ever served at a restaurant or if they've ever had this experience, but I used to work at Red Lobster. This was back in the day. It's probably been my early 20s, so like, 15 years ago or something. So I used to work there, and they came out with this really awesome feature. It was a, sorry guys, I keep saying today. I can't think of my wording today. It was a allergy button. So if anybody was allergic to shellfish, or let's just say like a certain meat or whatever it was, we would hit that button, put it in the description, like what they were allergic to, and then the serving squad, like not the serving, but the cooks, all of the line cooks would change out their aprons, their hair nets, their like, for their beards, their netting, their gloves, all of it. They would scrub down the grill. I mean, it was a to-do. So normally they wouldn't even put, like, if you were allergic to shellfish, you just couldn't get anything on the grill. They would just broil your food because they didn't want, I don't know, it was a really awesome button to have. Like, so it was for allergies. So when he's saying like vegan and he doesn't want his food around meat or where meat has been priorly cooked, I can see them having that sort of an option, like, oh, put it in the allergy button, dude's vegan or something like along those lines. Because we would have people that were vegetarian come into Red Lobster all the time. And they're like, what can we eat? And I'm like, salad, cheese sticks. Like, if you're not vegetarian, if you're not vegan, if you're just vegetarian and you do milk. Like, Cheddar Bay biscuits, the Rockaways. Oh man, those took over my life for 5 years. I got a lot of stuff done with Cheddar Bay biscuits for free. I actually got 2 free tires. They were used, but they were still good. It was from a tire place, and they bumped out 2 of 2 rims that I bent for free, which just for some Cheddar Bay biscuits. I lived in a small town. I love small town feel, When you can go to get your stuff done at the car place just for Cheddar Bay biscuits, they're like, just bring us some biscuits, Tanya. Your parents have bought plenty of tires here before. Broccoli on a pizza should be against the law. But I have had broccoli on pizza. Actually, I have had it. It's not that bad. I don't like broccoli and I wouldn't eat it ever. But if you're vegan, no, I don't know. I'll keep playing it though. Also, if you're just now joining us, we are talking about the Idaho 4 case. I think everyone knows the backstory, so I don't have to really go into it. But we are listening to this guy. He got an interview with one of the servers at the Mad Greek, and apparently they're saying that Bryan Kohberger was in the Mad Greek eating pizza, hanging out. So if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, don't forget, and also don't forget to like the video.
He could order and customize the pizza that he wanted with vegan ingredients, and that's what he wanted, and that's why he went there.
Do we know at this point from your source whether Maddie and Xana had any contact with him? Were they servers for his table? Were they behind the counter when he ordered? Do we know if there was any actual connection made?
We don't know any specific connection, but if you've ever seen this restaurant, this isn't a huge restaurant. This isn't a cheesecake factory where there's a whole bunch of people around. So the chances are that there was some sort of at least incidental contact between them, or at least he would have noticed them.
He could certainly see them without question. Whether he stood out as a customer that was noteworthy, that's a whole other, other story. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Oh, so you just no sauce? No sauce on the pizza? No, not for me. I love pizza too much. Take it away. No, couldn't do it. That's so weird to me. It's not weird because people can be vegan. It's just so weird that I wouldn't even want to try to do a pizza. I would just be like, that's not a pizza. I don't know. I grew up eating pizza though. That's all we ate. My mom worked at a pizza place for 20 years, and I swear to you, she loved pizza still. I'm like, how can you eat pizza? You work at a pizza place. Ugh. Heaven forbid. Okay. So, I was going to show you another. I was going to show you the one I was going to show you before, and then the Dan Abrams, and then I cut it off. So, But it just was, it's going to go over kind of the same thing a little bit that we just went over. So do you think that that was him? Do you think that he went to the restaurant? Do you think that he, I don't know, do you think that he sat at the restaurant, ordered his pizza, and that's how he knew the girls? I don't know. What do you guys think? Or do you think that he was at a party? Okay, because that's another thing too. A lot of people have been talking about on the Dateline episode, I guess they mentioned, I didn't even hear it during the Dateline episode. I must have been sleeping or something when this was said, because I would have paused it and would have been like, what? But I guess that this is the story. The story goes that the night before the murders, they had a rager at the house. They had 150 people at the house having a raging party. I guess a couple people came forward out of the 150 and said that, there was a party. First off, you can't fit 150 people in that home. You can't. It's not as big as it looks. I mean, it's 3 stories, but that's a lot of people. Where's the body cam footage? If there was a party, we saw when they had parties before and they had 10 people over. We saw 3 different body cams. We saw 3 different times that they were talked to. One of the nights, Xana looked like she said she was going to bed, and she literally looked like she was going to bed. She didn't even look like they were partying hard, and the cops were there for a noise complaint. So how was there no noise complaint if there was a 150 people party the night before the murders? Where was the cops at? Were they taking a break that night? They were like, oh, let them party this night. We just was over there yesterday bothering them. I don't get it. Let's see. Yeah, I think that actually they already, I think they proved that he wasn't in the vicinity. My brother fits 100 people in his 2-bedroom apartment. Your brother better stop. That's a fire hazard. Everyone will be jumping off the balcony. Does he have a balcony they could just jump off of? Because we used to have raging parties. Okay, so a friend of mine, he had a party it was one time, and it just stuck. His dad had the land, and it was a big farm. It's a big farmland. And he literally, the first year, it was just a bunch of us just getting drunk, just being stupid kids, right? But by the second, third, fourth, 10 years in, there's porta potties, there are concession stands, there are bands playing, there are 300 to 500 people. The cops know about it now. So I just feel like the cops would be there. I mean, the cops were always there at our parties. They were always just posted right around the corner, waiting for us to pull out. If you're drinking and driving, they was going to get you. And I was like, we're going to go ahead and pitch a tent. But we would. He did that in high school. He's grown now. No, that was me in high school too. But we did have a lot of people though. But that's just a lot, 150. Hi, Sergeant George. Okay, let's see here. What else do I want to show you guys? Doesn't feel like we've really been on that long. Haven't. Okay. I have, I'm just going to show you this Dan Abram thing, and then I'm going to show you this Nancy Grace. So Nancy Grace did, and I meant to put this in my description. I'll have to put it in there in a minute. She did an interview with Surviving the Survivor on YouTube. So I wanted to show you guys that interview that she did. But I'll show you this first. Also, thank you again, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it so much. I have one more other thing to tell you, too, after this is over with, before we get into Nancy Grace. So hopefully I don't forget. But thank you again for being here. Also, if you could, just hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And maybe I'll learn how to talk today, because I've been mumbling, jumbling.
We are learning more information tonight about Bryan Kohberger, the suspect in the murder of those 4 University of Idaho students, that may finally provide a connection to victims Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. People magazine reports that in the weeks before the November murders, Kohberger ate at the restaurant where 2 of the victims, Madison and Xana, worked. Quote, According to a former employee at the Mad Greek Restaurant in Moscow, Idaho, Bryan Kohberger came in at least twice to grab vegan pizza. Two of the victims, Madison and Xana Kernodle, were servers at the restaurant. It's unclear if either woman ever waited on Kohberger or if they even interacted. People also reports that an Instagram account belonging to Kohberger followed both Madison and Xana and the third female victim, Kaylee Gonsalves. And according to a source in late October, an account that authorities believe belonged to Bryan Kohberger sent a greeting to one of the female victims. When he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. He slid into one of the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond. The source tells People basically it was just him saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he did it again and again. The report in People states Kohberger was incredibly persistent in sending those messages, even though the victim never responded. Now, investigators already have suggested that Kohberger was stalking his victims months before the murders. Cell phone records laid out in the probable cause affidavit show he was near the house where the murders took place up to a dozen times in the months leading up to the killings. Even the victims' families were still trying to figure out if their paths had crossed. Shannon Gray is the attorney for the Gonsalves family.
I don't know of anybody that did know him. All of those girls were social. They were involved in the college. They were working hard, waitressing and doing different things. So the idea that he may have ran across their paths, I don't think is uncommon.
Also this week, the search warrant for Kohberger's Pullman, Washington apartment, just miles from where the students were killed, was unsealed, showing that investigators collected a pillow with reddish-brown spot-stained mattress covers, several possible hair strands, a black glove. There's also a new gag order that's even stricter. Now, you saw that piece of interview there with one of the family's attorneys. Even they won't be able to speak now publicly anymore. But so what does this new information tell us? Former classmates have said Kohberger was bullied in high school for being overweight. One former classmate telling the Daily Mail, quote, "The whole clique of popular girls made fun of him in school. They were the cheerleaders and the ones that every kid had crushes on." Let's ask Dr. Carol Lieberman, a forensic psychiatrist and expert witness who's been following this case closely, if this brings us any closer to the possible motive. Thanks very much for joining us, Doctor. What do you make of it?
Thank you. Well, I have been saying since the very beginning that he fits that before he was arrested, someone in particular was arrested, that the killer was an incel. And everything we have come to learn about Bryan Kohberger since then fits that pattern. So an incel is a young man who has been rejected by women in his whole history of trying to get women to have sex with him, to go out with him. And we have, yes, that article, for example, talks about this one girl, Kim, who he left letters for, love notes and so on, who he kept pestering, and he wouldn't take no, and she kept rejecting him, and all the popular girls were rejecting him and throwing things at him, bullying him, and so on. And so this is indicative, I mean, there are many other things that relate to this that are indicative of his having had this pattern throughout his life of being rejected by women, and not just rejected, like a lot of people get rejected, but incels build up the rage. And they have groups online and so on where they egg each other on. And so it's really, we see the beginnings of it in middle school. That's when he first left these love notes. And now we take it, all the way to his leaving DMs and trying to follow these victims.
So I was going to ask you about that. So you're saying that you think that the fact that they didn't respond, that she didn't respond to his DMs, triggers, in effect, this response from him, which is this fury and rage as the guy who's been rejected all his life, and then he plots out these murders?
Right. And now to be fair, we don't know whether the person he sent the DMs to actually saw his DMs, but he never got a response. So whether she saw them or not, it was the same rejection to him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider.
Yeah, let's get, I wanted to get one more person's opinion on what they think about him. Before, I wanted to get her opinion, but actually. Before we do that, let me check the chat really quick. Again, thank you for being here. Appreciate that, guys. I really do. We have 191 people in the chat. If you guys would all just love the video, that would be great. Just thumbs it up. That way it does send it out to the algorithm. That way more people can enjoy it. If you do like the video. I think I'm finally getting my voice. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know. I don't know how I feel about the incel theory. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I think that I don't know. I think that he does have some incel tendencies, but that one is that's a tough one. It seems like a lot of you guys seem to think though that it fits him well. Oh yeah. Oh, wait, actually, I want to do that. Well, we'll try to find the interview with the waitress. She showed the booking confirmation, and she had asked for a certain lighting at the table. Oh, certain lighting. I wonder what that was for. Maybe so he couldn't see his food. I'm weird about food, so I can't even say. I don't know why I'm over here even talking about him. I'm weird about food. So then when they talk about gloves and they talk about those kind of things, when I don't know. I'm not like I'm gonna go out and like hurt 4 people, but when I like have like handled meat at home, I like to wear gloves sometimes. Because I'm just weird though. I'm just weird. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what we saw a minute ago too. Yeah, I think we watched that one that he ordered from the Mad Greek. Yeah, and that he ordered some sort of pizza or something when he was there. Let's see what this criminologist had to say about all the stuff. And then also I did want to show you before we get started. So the nitrate type black glove, that's like a like a rubber kind of glove. Like what are they? It's not like a latex, but it's kind of like was it silicone? What are they made out of? I guess nitrate gloves. So I wanted to show you this glove because remember the glove at the scene that the interview room, the guy that has that channel, I can't think of his name, sorry, Christopher McDonough with the interview room, he found this glove, and this isn't the same one. I'm not saying that. I don't think so anyway, but he saw this glove outside of the crime scene. I think it was like a week and a half after the murders occurred. The murders occurred on the 13th, and he found the glove on like the 28th or something like that. So I'm wondering if you wouldn't put like a nitrate glove inside of that glove because this looks like more of a work glove or something. Is that what it looked like to you guys? I don't do powder. You're allergic to the powder gloves. I just don't do powder gloves normally. You're still pregnant? Oh man, still pregnant. She's there. There she is. I was wondering where you were, Nicole. I was thinking of you when we first started the live, and I meant to say something and I forgot. She's still in labor, still pregnant. She's, oh, I was telling my boyfriend last night, I was like, I need to make her a shirt or onesie or something. I said, if I had like one of those circuit things or whatever they're called, I would have already had it made up with hashtag TitaniumBuilt. So Chris McDonough found it. Yeah, and then Ellie came after it. So I was just wondering, like, it looks like a work type glove to me. I got one eyeball though, so looking at it, that's what it looks like. So, but I'm wondering if it still could have been the same glove, because whenever like I try to pull up like where he would maybe be parking. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So like, not where this, but I mean, if he parked on Queen Road, like right off of here somewhere, then maybe that was his glove. I know, but wouldn't that be cute? I know, I need to figure that out. I need to make you one. I need to make one. That'd be so cute. That'd be like the best. But this is someone else's drawing. I just was trying to like find an aerial view to show you what I was trying to, but I don't know if it's his or not. That's one thing I don't know. And I normally don't speculate, but I was like, there's a glove there, and they're only listing one glove as, being what if he double gloved? Like, what if he put the nitrate glove underneath of the black work glove? That way it was just more protection for his hands or something. And I can look up like the... the gloves, if it'll let me. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so that's like kind of like what the glove looks like there. Like you could definitely put that, I mean, underneath of this glove. So I'm talking about the glove like it's like OJ over here. I feel like I'm back in 95 or something. I was only 10 when that happened. I don't really remember, but you know, talking about the glove like that. And I just noticed that leaf is like sitting on top of the glove. Not like it makes any damn difference, but I just noticed that. Okay, let me shut some of this stuff in. I wanted to tell you guys a couple more things before I went to the Nancy Grace. Or maybe I didn't. And then she did come out with a new podcast as well. So I'm going to show you the new podcast that I'm going to show you one that Nancy did with the YouTuber today, and then one that she did tomorrow on the podcast. And then I was going to show you this video here about the criminologist. So we will play this, and then we will play the interview that Miss Nancy Grace did.
Black glove, receipts from Walmart and Marshall's, dust container from a vacuum, 12 possible hairs, one Fire TV stick, one possible animal hair strand, one computer tower, one item with dark red spot, 2 cuttings of an uncased pillow with reddish brownish stain, and mattress covers as well. Curious, interesting, but telling. There's got to be more to it, and the person who knows that is Casey Jordan. She's a criminologist, an investigative profiler, and a behavioral analyst. Casey, you saw the list.
Sure.
You know the other details in this story. What do you make of that list and what they actually might have gotten out of those items?
Well, I think we're all waiting with bated breath to find out the results of the forensic testing. Those reddish brown spots have got to be blood, and we want to know whose DNA is associated with that blood. I mean, if it is any of the victims, this is really bad for Bryan Kohberger. But even if it's just his own blood, the question is, why is he bleeding on a mattress cover or a pillowcase? Oh, could he have cut himself? But of all the things on that list, I'm going to argue that the hairs are the most important, and that possible single animal hair, if that traces back to Kaylee's dog, nail in the coffin, I think, in terms of what Bryan Kohberger comes.
That's what I thought. That is what I thought. And then I started to try to think about what a defense attorney would do with it. They all go to the same places, like the Mad Greek Restaurant, okay? And I know that my dog Atlas sometimes has some sheddings that are on my clothes, and I might have sat at the Mad Greek Restaurant, and the person who sat down after me might have had that transferred. I mean, you know how it works, right? There's the possible, then there's the plausible. But that would be one of those that somebody would raise in court and say, well, he's been to the same places that they have, and they might have transferred that to any number of places around Pullman and Moscow.
And of course, that is what his defense attorney would do if it goes to trial, which I truly don't think it will. It depends. The point is it reasonable to a juror to think that an animal hair from the victim, Kaylee's dog, went to the pizza parlor with her, ended up on him and back at his place. And by the way, he is accused of killing this woman. I mean, you just have to put yourself in the shoes of a reasonable person. But I mean, between that, the vacuum bag contents, this is going to be critical because it could have skin fiber. I mean, the triangulation is happening. The dotted lines, especially with your terrific guest from the People reporter, People magazine reporter, who's talking about those contacts, those DMs through Instagram. I mean, all of this just keeps tracing, and those dotted lines get more and more solid with each piece of evidence. I'm curious also about those receipts from Walmart and from Marshall's.
Yes.
What was it for? Any black kind of ninja outfit gear? Was the Dickies tag from a balaclava a mask that would have covered his face? I mean, I think that there's going to be some bombshells when we get more details. And we know they're doing all the holdbacks in case this goes to trial. But I think that the things that they got from that apartment are definitely going to start coloring in, if you will, the outline that is being drawn every single day. I mean, it just keeps mounting this evidence. And if Bryan Kohberger had this idea that he was going to blame a second party, a third party, and go, oh, you know, have you arrested anyone else for this case? And of course, we know his defense attorney wanted in her discovery to know everything about a co-defendant. It looks as if he had tried to set something up so he could blame someone else for framing him. But the more evidence that they mount, the less tangible that defense is ever going to be.
I'm with you on the why would you keep, you know, something with blood on it in your apartment, even if it is you bleeding. Again, this is several weeks after the actual crime itself. I think these things were seized on the 30th. Yeah.
Right.
So it's about 6 weeks after the crime. Very strange that there would still be blood on anything anywhere around a criminologist's apartment if he's guilty. But then that vacuum. I was also thinking about the vacuum and where that vacuum had been. And I think there's reporting as well that his car in Pullman had been cleaned. And it certainly had been cleaned in Pennsylvania. But I would be fascinated to know what's in that. But what about the fire stick, the fire TV stick? I know about computer towers and I know about searches. I'm going to talk about the searches in the Anna Walsh case in a moment. But what do you make of the fire TV stick? Have you seen that happening lately in criminal cases?
No, I really haven't. And of all the things on the list, I think I discount that the most. I mean, I think that they can probably track what he is doing through the Fire Stick, you know, with his online, with his activity. You know, a lot of people use the Fire Stick not just to, they want to know what he's been watching on TV. But, you know, listen, Big Brother is everywhere. The Fire Stick could be storing all kinds of things about his searches while he's using it that could be interesting to them. But again, it's just, it keeps mounting. And, you know, we're going to see what happens. I really remember he left a month after the killings. He left in mid-December to go back home. Then they got to the apartment, you know, 2 weeks after that. I've interviewed serial killers, Ashley. They are totally pumped with adrenaline for the first few days after the killing. And then as that subsides, they're overtaken with a sense of confidence that they got away with it. And that's when they start relaxing. So when we think of all the stupid mistakes that Kohberger could have made, if indeed he's factually guilty, it doesn't surprise me that he got sloppy just before he headed home for Christmas.
Thank you for watching. Go.
You could tell they just pressed on those letters on the back of that orange jumpsuit right for him. Right when he got there, they got him a brand new one. Man, oh man. Thank you guys again for being here. I really appreciate you guys so much. Really, really do. Don't forget to like the video if you could. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel, double check too to make sure you guys that are subscribed, make sure you guys are double checking that you're subscribed because some of you guys aren't getting the notifications and I'm hoping it's not like, I don't know, bumping you guys out of the subscriber, off the subscriber chart or something, you know, but I don't think it is. I think everyone should be okay. I just want to make sure of it. So, yeah, basically what we've went over so far, if you're just now joining us, we went over the gag order. We went over Bryan Kohberger and him, you know, following on Instagram the three girls that lived at the house, Zaina, Maddie, and Kaylee. I'm wondering if anyone knows this, I'm wondering if he was following the other two girls, Dylan or Bethany, on Instagram. Now, that's the question now that I have, because if, you know, I wanted to know. Want to know now. We also went over, you know, him eating at the Mad Greek restaurant and maybe that being another possible connection between the between Kohlberger and the girls and Ethan. Now, the more that's coming out, I feel like Ethan was just a casualty of being there. I feel like he shouldn't have been there. Maybe even Kaylee as well. But I don't know for sure. Because those are two people that maybe shouldn't have been there, that weren't, there regularly. But then again, I feel like Ethan would have been maybe there regularly. Of course, you can get my email address again. I'll put it in the comments for you. Yeah, I want to see that baby when you have that baby. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. I haven't had a baby born in my family in a long time, it seems like. Actually, it's been 9 years since my nephew. Actually, I met my nephew when I was in the hospital with my injuries. He was really, really sick, and not like really, really sick, but he was pretty sick. He had like breathing problems and stuff when he was first born. Something just was going on with his little respiratory system, so we couldn't be around him, and it was insane because there's 4 others that we were always there for everything, And so we had him, and I got to meet him when I was actually learning how to walk. So he was 6 months old and I was walking. I was like not wanting to walk anymore. And here he came through the door. Babies will do that too. Yeah. See, I love babies. We're a baby channel here. We love babies on this channel. Okay. So we did talk about Bryan. Yep. And how, apparently he'll eat at the Mad Greek restaurant, but he won't eat at his aunt's house. Apparently there's something wrong with his aunt. That's what I'm beginning to think. I'm going to drop the if you want to join our membership, I'm going to drop that in the tab or in the chat right now. And then we're going to get onto the Nancy Grace, this video I want to show you. So she went on Surviving the Survivor and did a little podcast with him. And I wanted to play this for you guys. And I'm going to put his channel link in the description or in the description and in the chat right now. So I don't forget. Do you have a name yet, actually, do you have a name for your baby? We haven't even asked about name. What are we naming her? It's a little girl, right? We're having a girl. I'm about to say, let me know. Hey, Princess Megan, I saw you came in, and I wanted to say hi to you. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Pamela. I appreciate that. Oh, this is exciting. Okay, so I will go ahead and play this. Oh, there is no way I'll be able to pronounce that. Valency Rain. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. That's really pretty. But I bet you it's even prettier than what I'm pronouncing. Valencia, right? Valency. I bet it's pretty. Not after a headless doll, I hope, is about. That's funny. I know. I wonder where the name came from. I love the name. My brother and my sister-in-law, they're good at naming some kids. They got some crazy names. Except for Donovan, we named him after the Eagles player. Yeah, we're Eagles fans to the death. So I'm going to go ahead and play Nancy now, and we'll kind of talk through it. It's not very long, but and I'll try not to blast it in your ears as well.
Or family tree, where
Oops, let me rewind it.
there's been a big brouhaha. Was he found through genetic genealogy, or was he found because he put his DNA in a database? Who cares? I don't care.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor, where we're all just trying to survive in a rough world.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to another episode of Surviving the Survivor, where we make the promise to bring you the best guests in all of true crime. And today we bring you the best known of all of our best guests. And that, of course, is the true crime GOAT, Nancy Grace. She currently hosts Crime Stories with Nancy Grace on Fox Nation. She previously hosted Nancy Grace, a nightly celebrity news and current affairs show on HLN, as well as a show on Court TV. She has the book Objection: How High-Priced Defense Attorneys, Celebrity Defendants, and the 24/7 media have hijacked our criminal justice system. And she started her career as a prosecutor in Atlanta. It has been 9 weeks and 4 days since 4 young University of Idaho students were brutally.
I would say Oprah Winfrey.
For some time, for invite.
high-priced defense attorneys, celebrity defendants.
I just want to say, I want to cut out of that. Who's that lady behind him? Is that his mom? Does anyone know? I've never really watched this guy's channel, but if that is his mom, I want a cardboard cutout of my mom, like behind me. I don't want my mom. I want someone though. But I want Nancy. That's what I want. I want a cardboard cutout of Nancy Grace to put behind me with my neon sign. 10,000 subscribers and I'm getting a Nancy cutout. I don't know how much a Nancy cutout would be, but that'd probably be really expensive. That's his mom. Okay, I love it. I love the idea. I love the concept. I even love the microphone. I used to have that mic. Actually, I think his is smaller than my old one. My white one back there. Now I have this one. But I want a cardboard cutout of Nancy. I'm going to look it up.
And the 24/7 media have hijacked our criminal justice system, and she started her career as a prosecutor in Atlanta. It has been 9 weeks and 4 days since 4 young University of Idaho students were brutally stabbed to death in their off-campus home. As you know, I like to start the show always remembering the victims. Let us never forget Madison Mogan, 21, Kaylee Gonzalez, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us. I know you were just on the ground in Moscow. What was that feeling like? And does the university, in your opinion, ever recover?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure and honor to be with you. I have to tell you that in Idaho, there on the ground, there was a very, very eerie feeling. It seemed as if, I don't know if you ever have walked into a quiet church where nobody's there, or if there was cemetery. It was, eerie, and no matter where I went, there was a feeling of sadness. Whether we went up and down Main Street, where we went to the Mad Greek for dinner and lunch, we went to several off-campus housing areas and places to eat where students were congregating. We went to one vintage clothing store run by students. They all had an overwhelming tone of sadness and very hushed tones, no matter where we went.
Our friend Kevin Fixler, who is an investigative reporter at the Idaho Statesman, just dropped a new article saying he spoke to a Wazoo graduate living in the same on-campus housing as Bryan Kohberger, and they had a conversation, and Kohberger, turns out, submitted, according to this person, his DNA for consumer genetic testing. According to this person who did not want to be identified, Bryan Kohberger talked about his ancestors. He had some sort of DNA test, this person says. I don't know how he got to that point. It was just interesting to him, according to the person interviewed. So Nancy, is it your understanding, there's been a lot of talk about IgG, this investigative genetic genealogy, that it was in fact used, or what do you make of the fact that he apparently has some interest in DNA?
Well, I find that really interesting. I mean, he was obviously no stranger to DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. He had been a criminologist major for some time. So that would not have been anything new to him. But I find it interesting that he, knowing what he knows about DNA, would have put his own DNA into a data bank. Now, of course, there are public use data banks such as GEDWatch or Family Tree, where there's no expectation of privacy. But with other databases such as Ancestry.com or 23andMe, that data, that DNA information is not handed out on a silver platter. Now, I'm wondering, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this, you know, when you do something like 23andMe, you can either click privacy or you can put your DNA out there to find long lost relatives with anyone else who is on the service and looking for you. So I'm wondering if that was done. That said, there's been a lot of discussion Was the DNA match made by genetic genealogy? In other words, they found the DNA at the crime scene on the sheath of the knife. They then created a family tree going way, way, way back, probably centuries, came down to who might be in the area, a male in that area, and came up with Kohberger. Then, amazingly, had the identification of a white Elantra made by two incredible Washington State University cops who just happened to be going through the data bank of who had a white Elantra registered for campus housing. I went there to this step-toe housing where he lived, and that was a whole nother story I could tell you. But
Please
I'm
do.
wondering,
Please do. How was that?
I will. But there's been a big brouhaha. Was he found through genetic genealogy, or was he found because he put his DNA in the data bank? Who cares? I don't care. If the DNA matches, I don't care how we got it, as long as it was constitutional.
100%. What was it like when you visited the on-campus housing?
When I went there, I was really surprised because there were a lot of children. I mean, little children, like looked to be 3 to 5 years old. Well, a couple of them were walking around on their own, like they were coming home from school. So a few were older than that. But he actually shared a wall with a little boy. And I know this because I saw the little boy's toys underneath the stairwell in the apartment below Kohberger. Also, that person had said they noticed, it was the mom, had noticed Kohberger up walking around his apartment late at night, like 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and would always turn on his disposal. And that would, wake her up. But she didn't want to complain because she was afraid her child had woken him up, crying sometimes at night. So she never.
What do you guys think he was putting down the garbage disposal? Like, obviously, it wasn't food. I mean, what kind of food do you eat that, like, I mean, really, it's not like it's meat. Like, you don't eat meat. You throw an egg down there, or I don't know. Well, you're a vegan, so you don't even eat eggs. So, okay, I mean, like, what do you put in there? Some lettuce? I know that there's more things you eat, like fruit, but I'm saying, like, that wouldn't, like, be making a garbage disposal do that. What are you putting in there, sir? I'm really fascinated by that. Hi, Doreen. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, good brunch time. But I'm so curious. I'm so curious to what I just don't know. Yeah, he's not Pam, yeah, he's not very smart. He for being a PhD student, he's not very smart. I'm trying to show the message. Some of the messages I have to show him. There we go.
Never said anything. But I was surprised to think that somebody charged with 4 pre-planned murders, stabbing murders, which I think are a breed of their own, stabbers, are there mixing with children. It just, I didn't like it at all. I ran into another neighbor that I interview, and you can see and hear the interview on our new Fox special coming up, where we compare the similarities, the uncanny similarities between Kohberger and Ted Bundy. It's going to be called Parallels of Evil. I'm waiting for that to drop, I think, on the 28th. But
really quick, I swear to you guys, I was going to do the same video a long time ago and I forgot all about it. I was going to do a video of a side-by-side like comparison just to see if there was similarities, because when he first got arrested, everybody was saying like, oh my gosh, Ted Bundy, he's like Ted Bundy, he's like Ted Bundy. And even before he was arrested, people were saying that, just because of the way the killings were. So that's very fascinating that she's getting ready. That might be the one that we're actually going to watch. I'll double check.
I met a neighbor, and listen to this. The neighbor did not want me to use his name. So I promised I wouldn't. And when you see it in Parallels of Evil, you can't see the neighbor. We had to crop the whole thing so you never see the neighbor's face. You never see anything distinguishing about him. He doesn't want to go down in history as being known as Bryan Kohberger's friend. But he told me Koberger's father moved Koberger across country in, like when you take your kid to college. And that the dad, who seemed like a pretty nice guy, very open, came up to the neighbor and said, look, can you befriend him? Can you be his friend? He has a really hard time making friends and meeting people. He's like setting up a play date with a 28-year-old kid. Anyway, that said, so the friend, the neighbor, went out of his way to invite him to things until finally the neighbor's wife said, stop. Do not invite him over for dinner. And the neighbor said, why? And she said, I don't know. 6 cents. You know, I just don't, something about him. I don't want him around. Isn't that
was
odd?
Good intuition on that woman's part. There's also, believe it or not, people, as in the magazine, reporting that in late October, that Bryan Koberger reportedly sent a greeting to one of the 3 female victims on Instagram. And when he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. This is according to the source that People magazine got, who's reportedly in law enforcement. The source saying he slid into one of the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond. Basically, it was just him saying, hey, how are you? But he did it again and again. Social media can be a dangerous landscape these days. Do you think that something on there could have potentially triggered Bryan Koberger?
I think it's entirely possible, especially when that is juxtaposed against, you got to read this New York Times article. Gosh, I wish I could remember the guy's last name. It's a hyphenated last name. And I read the whole thing a couple of hours ago. He managed to dig up old postings allegedly by Koberger, dating back to Koberger's teen years, where Koberger describes himself as being a miserable sack of decaying meat. Now, remember, he's a vegan, so that is particularly significant. That has no feelings, that when he sees his family or hugs them, it's like he's looking at a video game. He feels nothing toward them. He talks about having I would say, superiority complex, delusions of grandeur. Those are his words, not mine, where he doesn't feel anything. And I find that really interesting because that is the textbook definition of a sociopath. Let me circle back because I took us down a rabbit hole on the New York Times discoveries. I don't know if any of that's going to come into court or not, but it may, to go to course of conduct, MO, modus operandi, method of operation, frame of mind. But back to your discussion of the DMs, direct messages, I believe through Insta. One of the girls, I'm sure it wasn't Ethan, but one of the girls very likely did not respond to his DMs. The irony, she may not have ever even seen them. But was that enough to trigger him? I'm not sure, but I do know, if this is true, we've all been wondering, how did he identify his victims? Now remember, the state never has to prove motive to a jury, but practically speaking, they want to know why. They want to know, how are you connecting him to her? How are you doing that? So even though this law doesn't require you to do it, you better come up with the motive. And if it's true he was following them or watching them on Insta, they were very open. That may have been how he identified them.
Yeah, very, very creepy. The title of that article you're referring to, the New York Times article, is Idaho murder suspect felt no emotion and little remorse as a teen. The byline is Mike Baker and Nicholas Bogle Burrows, for those of you who are interested.
That's him.
Yeah. There's still a little bit more news coming out. The Gonzalez family, which has been in the media quite a bit, they spoke to a YouTube channel, I believe. There was a lot of discussion about these final phone calls between the on-again, off-again boyfriend, Jack DeCur, and Kaylee Gonzalez, and they came out and say now that Kaylee was having regrets. some remorse over the breakup and said to her parents, I might never find another Jack. This appears like it was a true love, at least a first love, Nancy. I know you went through a very painful situation. How difficult is this on the families and the boyfriend, Jack DeCur?
Oh my stars. I've thought about Jack so many times, and what you're referring to is the murder of my fiance shortly before our wedding. I think now that I have children, the two losses are incredibly painful and incredibly dissimilar. I don't think anything is closer to me than my children. Nothing. I would rather die than see anything happen to them. There's no love like a parent's love for their child. And I know that now. I didn't know it then. On the other hand, a lover, a sweetheart, a fiance, I mean, it took me well over 20 years to get past Keith's murder. I couldn't remarry. I would destroy every relationship I got into, it unintentionally, but when I look back, it seemed like intentionally, because I couldn't let go. All your dreams of your future, your whole life is mapped out, and then it's suddenly destroyed like a nuclear bomb let loose. And those are two very, very different.
Man, Nancy just humanized herself. Like, oh man, I already felt bad for Nancy. Now I really feel bad for her. Like, she's telling her own, like, little story. You know what I mean? She doesn't really ever, I've never heard her really open up about it. So that's really, aw. I should start a Facebook discussion group. I know, I thought about that because but I never get on Facebook. That's the problem. I'm really bad about getting on Facebook. I really am. But I may start discussion groups though. And if I do, I mean, I would do them on Facebook. Were the authorities not aware these girls were being stalked beforehand? Hence, if the threats were that risky, something should have been done as a prevention tool. That's the one bad thing about the United States of America is you literally got to be beat before anybody does anything. Like, I mean, so if this guy was just following them, the cops ain't going to really do anything. I mean, even if he came to the house every single day and was knocking on the door every day, but he wasn't harming them in any way, he was just bothering them, cops probably wouldn't do much about it. It literally takes a lot to get a restraining order. You literally have to be walking in a lot of police stations bloody and battered before they even take you serious. It's sad, but it's true. But if you're ever in that kind of a situation, you should always reach out to Domestic Violence Coalition, because those are the people that have your back. You know, that's what my sister-in-law does. So Cherry Hill says, I don't do any social media, not very social. That made me laugh because I'm just saying, I'm on here talking to 300 people right now, but I'm thinking I'm not very social either. But it is true. I don't use Facebook very often. I'll get on and see if my brother's, okay, nieces and nephews are okay, friends, make sure they're okay. But really, that's all. I do TikTok. I have a TikTok and I have a Twitter. So I do those. And my Twitter is at @titanium_built and my TikTok is at TitaniumBuilt. Everything should be at TitaniumBuilt. I just need to figure out how to get that. Someone stole my handle already on the Twitter, so I'll go ahead and start playing her again. But yeah, she's really making herself more like humanized here. Like, I'm used to Nancy always yelling. So she'll be back to yelling probably here in the next 30 seconds.
Losses. And I have thought about that family, the 4 families, and Jack so often, and pray for them and hurt for what they're going through. But almost immediately, I got a sixth sense that Jack was not involved in any way. I mean, plus the alibi out. I think people wanted to think he was, but he just wasn't.
It's obviously brutal on the families. Unfortunately, you know that firsthand We have time for one or two quick questions from STS Nation. This one comes from Marina to Nancy. She writes, perhaps the touch DNA on the sheath is not even Bryan Kohberger's, but his father's. In the affidavit, they say located a single source of male DNA. Does the DNA profile refer to the individual or familial? Just speculating here, the father could have touched it. How big a deal would that be if it was not Bryan's DNA per se on that sheath?
Well, it would be a huge big deal. And I can see how the questioner is misled. I see exactly how she was misled by the wording in the affidavit. But let me assure everyone, what that refers to is that the donor of the DNA on the sheet is, in fact, the male son of Kohberger's father. That's what that means. It is no way Bryan Kohberger's father. It is the male son of his father, and his father only has one son. He has two daughters, one son, and that is Bryan Kohberger. Once you see it play out and you hear the explanation, it will make perfect sense. It's like you get my DNA in a murder weapon, and then you think, oh, it's her. And you get my mom's DNA, and it's very clear from the mitochondrial DNA that the murder weapon was touched by one of Elizabeth Grace's daughters. She's got two daughters. And then you'd have to figure out which one of us did it. But there's no suggestion and no proof whatsoever, no scintilla of evidence that the father was involved.
You heard it from Nancy right there. One more question here from Tracy King. I'm the son of a psychiatrist, Nancy, so I like this question. Question for Nancy. Was Bryan Kohberger also trying to kill himself in a psychological sense in a big bang of incriminating missteps? We all heard about, how smart this killer was. Apparently, he's not too smart at all. Do you think he was trying to self-implode in essence?
Well, let me give it to you straight. A lot of people think, oh, he meant to leave the knife sheath there. BS. That's a technical legal term. He did not mean to leave it there. He screwed up. And thank goodness he screwed up, or we may never know who should be charged. He didn't want to go to jail or the death penalty. No. He made a series of blunders that even the smartest person may have, traps they may have fallen into. And I'm telling you, will anybody learn? Hello, we can see your pings. We know where your cell phone is.
Quick last question. I lied. Does Kohberger take a plea deal, or does this go to trial?
Oh, HCLLNO. Unless he wants to plead to 4 consecutive life sentences, he is not going to plead. Now, I'm telling you, if I was prosecuting this case, I would go all the way. I'd leave it up to a jury. If they wanted to give him the death penalty, all right. If they didn't, so be it. But I would take this all the way for the maximum sentence, and then I would leave it up to a jury.
The show on Fox Nation is Crime Stories with Nancy Grace, the special coming out paralleling Ted Bundy with Bryan Kohberger is Parallels of Evil on Fox Nation. I have to say, I've interviewed a gazillion people in my time in broadcast media. This will go up high on the list to interview the GOAT of all GOATs of true crime. That, of course, is Nancy Grace. Nancy, thank you for being so graceful with your time. We appreciate it. We'll be back with another episode of Surviving the Survivor.
Okay, so that was all of that. Yeah, I didn't know that she would have that. Parallels of Evil would be on a different channel than her podcast is on. So let me check her podcast really quick, and then I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to give me a Nancy Grace cutout, cardboard cutout. I'm telling you what. Let me see. Where was I at? If we go here. I'm going to see if there's another one out. Let's just make sure. I don't think there is. I don't know. Here we go. Maybe this will be better. That's not going to work. I just want to make sure we didn't, we're not missing anything. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm just making sure I didn't, like, I don't think we really forgot. I don't think we forgot anything. Because we watched that last time. Remember we watched Body Bags, so I just want to make sure that we didn't miss anything. We could do this one. But I don't know. Let's see. Yes, and we love the Nancy Grace cutout idea. Okay, so I looked it up. So and this is what I'm going to write them. It just said to put the name of the person in that you like, the celebrity that you want, but I had to put in a note. I put the world is ready. So I'm going to submit this. This is going to be, they're going to, because they don't have one. They don't have a Nancy Grace cutout. I'm like, are you kidding? Still sending. It's taking forever to send. Send it on over there, though. These are celebrity cutouts. Well, it'll eventually send. Maybe it's because oh, there we go. Thank you for your request. If we're able to, we'll add them to our site soon. Just add them. Come on. Just add Nancy. We are ready. The world's ready for Nancy. Let's see here. All right, Nancy Grace, an email. There we go. Yeah, everyone write Nancy and tell her. Be like, you got a huge fan over here in the true crime community. Be like, she's good people. Every time I think about the name Ann Taylor, I think of Ann Taylor, the clothing store. Isn't that a clothing store? Like back in the day, it's kind of like a loft, like the lofts or something. Ann Taylor, yeah, loft. It's like it's a clothing store, female, like a woman's clothing store. That's the boutique owner in me, I guess. But that's really all I have for you guys for today. If you guys have any questions, or we could just chit chat for a little bit, whatever. I do want that cardboard cutout though, that's for sure. So 10,000 subscribers, everybody start subscribing to the channel. We'll have to make it worth it. We'll have to make the cardboard cutout worth it. I might have to make it. We'll have to get like a giant life-size picture of Nancy, and then I can somehow wrap it. Oh, I'm thinking, guys. I'm thinking. Is the wee woman down the road? See, now everyone's going to think Anne. They're going to think Ann Taylor, the clothing store, probably now. Hopefully, she's good for him. I mean, I'm hoping he has the best defense out there, because if he doesn't, then he could always come back with some stuff like later on. Oh, I didn't have a good defense. With that being said, I think I'm with Nancy with I believing that he isn't going to just he's not going to plead guilty. He's going to milk it. He's going to continue it. We're probably going to be here for the next few years. Yeah, so that's what I guess a worker there said that she thought she saw him in the restaurant. We talked about it in the beginning of the live too. We went over it a little bit. Yeah, actually right here is the tab. I still have it open. Idaho suspect Bryan Kohlberger visited a restaurant where 2 victims worked at least twice before killings. And I do like People magazine. They're usually pretty legit, I feel like. Oh, my legs are hurting me today, guys. It's the weather. I have metal rods. Oh, and someone was asking me earlier if I had like a video over my like accident and stuff. I don't have a video. I mean, I have a video. I have so many videos on my YouTube, like about car accidents, about my accident. I have pictures from my car accident and stuff. But I don't know if I've ever put my car accident pictures in a video, guys. Tell you the truth, I don't think I knew how to edit back then. So I don't think I've ever seen any of those. Wow. I'm about to go to my own page and be like, wait a second. I really don't think I've ever shared them with you guys because I never knew how to edit like before. But you could go to my my TikTok. I can show you my TikTok. It's just, I can just like turn it down so you can't hear the words or something. Because I don't think it's on my channel. I'd have to go, I have so many videos, you'd have to like, I'll probably have to go through these for days. I need to put them in little sections for you guys. Okay, so 3 months ago, I didn't even edit my video. Or like I literally am on an iPad. Like you're looking at an iPad, I'll have to show you. Like, look at this one. Look at me, I'm no editing. I was trying to find like one, like maybe that I could show you that would be from my car accident. These ones down here would be. So 2 years ago, but none of these have my accident. So I'll have to make you guys a video. I'll have to show you this one right. This video right here, guys. I'm going to have to play it. I'm not going to play it for you. This is just personally what I'm just going to do this. And let's not make it so I don't look so crazy. So this video, I thought was my best video ever. I'm just taking you down memory lane for a minute, just because we're sitting here for a second. But and it was on how to clean your prosthesis. And it was just a little video I did in my kitchen at the time. My car accident was 9 years ago. It'll be 10 years. Oh shit, it'll be 10 years next month. Woo, 10 years flies by. But yeah. And so I thought that was my best video. And my best video at the time had 4,000, I think 4,000 views. Oh, bless my heart. So when someone brought that up, I was like, oh, so yeah, that was me on cleaning my prosthesis, on how to clean your prosthesis. And I just grew from there. I grew and grew and grew. Look, I look like a different person there, I feel like. You have to go to, so if you go onto my Twitter or my TikTok, let me see if I can pull it up. I really like the song behind it because it's like, it's a good song. It's a rap song, and I like to be listening to some rap music, you know, when you're trying to be feeling good, looking good, feeling good. Okay, good. It doesn't have the... I'm just making sure. Let me see. I think... Actually, this one doesn't have it, I don't think. But if you go on my... TitaniumBuilt, I only have 142 followers, so you can follow me. That'd be great. I am going to post more content over on there for you guys for these cases too. But if you go over there, you can probably see like some stuff from my car accident. If you don't want to go to my Poppy and Ari one, that's for my boutique. I was trying to show you. I thought I saw one from, there's from my surgery day. That's where they put this on my eye, this little initials, so they don't go in and remove the wrong one. Then there's me with my eye patch on. I came back same day almost with you guys. I don't know if you guys were with me back when I was rocking my eye patch. 10-year celebration cake. I think that's a good idea. I think we should have a whole party. I think the whole freaking month should be a damn party. I should do a 10-year anniversary. I am. I'm able to do it now. I'm so able. I think back then they didn't. So when I was in the hospital, and I don't know why nobody did this. I wish they would have. Nobody took video of me learning how to walk or learning how to do anything. Like literally I had to learn how to even just like go to the restroom, not like go to the restroom, but like go into the restroom by myself, like anything. I had to learn how to do it all again. No one wanted to, I think, put those images like out there for me to see like later on or something. Or I don't know. I think everyone was just like, don't talk about it or something. Like, I don't know what it was, but I wish I would have had more pictures and more like of those, but I do have a lot of milestones, like, just walking my dogs like 6-7 years ago and being able to walk and run with them, like a little bit, like jog with them. So I'll put all those kind of together and do like a celebration video. But I thought I had one on my TikTok of me, like all my little steps. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard. I forget why I laughed so hard in this one, but I'm laughing hard in that one for some reason. And your girl does go through spurts. So if you notice, I'm some days I'm skinny, some days I'm not as skinny. Just mind your own business. Because you'll literally see it within like a week. I'm literally, my size changes so much, I feel like. Like, look how small I was when I first left my job. Aired me in a bathing suit. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I had one for you guys. That was... there's the dog. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I had one, but I guess I don't have it over on this side. Just on the other one. I was just double checking. I'm ready to go back to California. I'm ready to go on a vacation, y'all. I need a vacation. Looking at these pictures. If anybody, go Eagles. Yeah, that's right, Doreen. This got me right off track. She said go Eagles. And I'm just like, whoop. But no, I'm ready to go back on vacation. If anybody is from California, y'all, you got the best son. Who helped you through your recovery? My damn self. Shared experience. I mean, really, so who helped me through my recovery? My mom. My mom was my major motivator person. Like, she was there when I needed somebody, like when you need someone to yell at or to scream and to cry and to have those depression like type of moments. That's who was there for me. My friends, they ran. Like they, as soon as I got out of the hospital, they ran so fast. Like, I don't know where they went. I was like, where the hell did everybody go? I do love my friends, but I think it was too hard for them. So they didn't know what to do. My friends didn't know what to do, because what do you do? I was 27, 28 when it happened. And my group of girlfriends they're gorgeous girls. And I think that when something happens like this, like to me, my eye was removed. I mean, my face was all, I broke the bones in my face. I think my friends just were like, they didn't know what to do. So they just kind of like stepped away, which was not what I needed, but, not what I wanted actually, but what I guess needed at the time. Because me and my mom were like, we were always really close. But after my car accident was a whole other story, because I had to go and live with her, and she had a 1-bedroom apartment. Woo, Lord Jesus, my mama was something else too. She literally was, she was the best. So she was like able to take care of me, even when she didn't know what to do. She would tell me, I mean, there was times that she would break down. She didn't know what to do. As a mom, when you lose a body part or any part. And I lost my eye, and then 2 months later, I was in the hospital. I was out of the hospital, and I got a text from a friend, and she asked me if I could just mentor another person. And this guy had lost his legs in a car accident. So then that made me feel like, well, kind of makes you feel, it puts you down, it makes you, take a step back and be like, okay, I lost my eye, but it could be worse. Like I saw it right in front of me. This guy lost his legs. he was just doing a really good deed, a good deed. I'll tell you the story about him. Oh Lord Jesus, he was driving his ex-wife home from the bar. He was being a nice dude. They have like 5 kids together, all girls. And she was, I guess, she jerked the wheel. Like she was arguing with him. And he kept saying like, don't argue with me. Just let me get you home. Like he was sober and rational. And they hit a guardrail and he ended up losing his legs. And woo, Lord Jesus. But I mean, we found the humor. I don't know. You find the humor in things when, like, I don't know, when you don't have anything, I guess, left, you're just like, I don't know. You find the humor. But my friends literally, yeah, MIA, yeah. Oh, yeah. She pushed me to get better, hard times. Yeah. Like, and sometimes you just have to do it for yourself. Like there would be times my mom didn't want to go outside with me, like to walk. I'd be like, okay, Mom, we gotta go outside and walk. She'd be like, Tanya, I don't really want to right now. And I had to remember, and I didn't think about it at the time, but my mom had just lost her husband, not like really close, but like 8 years before this. And so she was still like in her own thing, dealing with her own emotions. And then this happens to her child, another car accident. So, she loses her husband in a car accident, almost loses her daughter in a car accident within a mile of each other too. So you don't think about that though when you're going through recovery. You think you need help recovering. And then there'd be days she wouldn't want to do that with me. So I had to literally be like, okay, then I'm doing it by myself. Because if I didn't do it, then nobody was going to do it. I mean, like no one was going to tell me, be like, you better learn how to walk. I mean, they could be like, you better learn how to walk, but Mine passed when I was young, don't have much family now. Oh, no, I don't either. I don't have very much family either here. I just have my brother. He's about an hour and a half away. Then I have my 5 nieces and nephews, so they're a big group. But other than that, it's just me and Vincent, myself, and our babies, our little animals. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are strong. When I see you guys in the chat talking about stuff, I always think that about you guys. Yeah, see, that's how friends can be, and they're not really friends. But my friends were like, I don't know, my friends were great friends, but they were like not great friends at the same time. They just didn't know what to do. They like really didn't know. They were, so when I had the car accident, when I was in the hospital, they showered me with gifts. I mean, the girl, I couldn't want for nothing. I really couldn't. If I wanted it, I had it. If I asked for it, it was there. I probably could have asked for a Bentley and my whole family would have got together and been like, they would have been selling homes and stuff. Like it was literally whatever Tanya wants, give Tanya what she wants. And I think that's really just because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to deal with it. So then after I got home, the next day after I got home, it was like silence and it was so quiet compared to being in a hospital where you're always at least hearing something like, the beeping of machines or the nurses, you're always, even at night, you're hearing a little bit of something. Going from that to nothing, it pulls you into like this new world and you're like, this new reality. And finally you got to live it and you're like, well, shit, and then that's when you need people. That's when you need people. You don't need people when you're in the hospital. If anyone's listening to me right now and you're listening to this in the hospital, go home. He don't need you. They don't need you right now. They need you when they get home because they got nurses, they got doctors, they've got people there helping them get stronger, get better, eat. They got them to take their medicine. They get them to eat their food. They got that. They need people in recovery and stuff. They need people for when they get home. Like, it's just not when you're in the hospital, but bull riding gave me titanium wrist, been framing houses for 20 years. Props to you. Wow. Bull riding. Heck no. My brother, he loved that movie, 8 Seconds. Yeah, he loved bull riding. He loved that whole thing. He was a cowboy. He still is. But man, titanium in the wrist. I had it in this one. They took that out. They took this one out, the plate and the screws. So I was lucky there. 28 is young. Yeah, I was so young. And then I lost my mom by 30. And then she literally switched herself out with a male version. Vincent, like, he's seriously the best. Like, He's the best. I didn't get, so I wasn't lucky, like, with, my health so much, I'm in decent health. I'm not in like the worst health or nothing, but I'm not like, I got titanium rods in me and stuff. So I'm not like running marathons or anything over here. But I feel like overall I'm not doing too bad. But I do have Vincent, and like, he's my lucky charm. He's where I gained my luck. I didn't get paid for this car accident neither, y'all. Not even a little bit. Oh, thank you, Doreen. Yeah, my mommy, she passed. It's been 5 years now, I think. 5 years, 6 years. So 7, it'll be 7 years this year. Shoo, it's been too long. But I have Vincent. I feel like she literally switched herself out with Vincent. I met Vincent, the boyfriend I have now, 4 or 5 months. Well, no, I lied. Let me see. 5 months later. Yeah, 5 months later, almost to the day. And we met, and we went on a blind date, and we were together ever since. And he literally, if I'm thirsty, like if I'm sitting in here and I'm like, I'm thirsty, and I just say it out loud, he'll get me, and he'll have a drink there ready for me or something. Or if I'm thirsty and I'm in the other room and I'm with him, and we have nothing to drink at the house, he's up and going to get it. He's not even like, here's my keys, or go get it yourself. You know what I mean? He's always just, he's a very caring person. So that's what I needed. And I love, all of you guys are so caring in the chat too. You guys really are. I wish I would have had this big of a platform when I first started my little trauma channel, but I am going to do more stuff with the trauma side, because I do like doing that stuff too. I like sharing my story, and I like sharing, tips and tricks for the eye and stuff too. I know a lot of people, there's a lot more people out there that have prosthetic eyes than I think. And I think a lot of people are just curious anyway. Isabel does. Yeah, my mom she did. She sent him to me. She really did. Because like, my dad would have loved him too. That's the best part. Oh yeah, you did. I thought that you lost your parents too. So your dad, so that's like me almost. Like I was 22 with my dad, and then 30 with my mom. Like vice versa. Yeah, I got Vincent. So yeah, he's stuck with me. He ain't going nowhere. That boy ain't going nowhere. And his mom is the sweetest. And I think my mom orchestrated that for sure too, because his mom we don't speak the same language. So we don't have to like each other. We just love each other. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to talk, because there's just I don't know. It's different when you don't speak the same, like she speaks English, but her English is very, very, it's not broken. I don't want to say broken, because it's a good English, but she's from Japan. So Japanese is her native language. She's used to like speaking Japanese to her children. And so it comes out in her speech when she talks to like me, or talks to his brother Alexander's girlfriend. So half of her sentence will be in English, but half of it will be in Japanese. And so, so you're just like, what'd she say? So you literally, and she's like this little, this big. I mean, she's just so adorable. His mom is the best. She's just so small and like adorable and cute. And I think we don't even need to talk. Like there's an understanding there, I'm very blessed that she had him. So very, very blessed. I set my hubby up with one of my sisters. They went on 2 dates. That's so funny. My dad actually went on a date with another woman. They came back to the bar that night, right? Was like going home, going to go hang out at the house and chill, because my mom told me everything. So my mom was there, and I guess she came downstairs not realizing that my dad was there with this lady. Like, they weren't doing nothing. They were just hanging out talking. And my dad got one look at my mother and her, like, it was a black negligee, because that's what they called it back then in the 60s or whatever, 70s. And he was like, I don't want you. I want her. And he like literally, then he followed my mom around until he locked her into a little service elevator, and wouldn't let her out till she gave him her phone number. And then they went on a date. It's like, what? My dad locked her in. Like, they ended up working it was weird that they ended up working at the same restaurant. So my mom was in like one of those little small service elevators. And like, come to find out, and he locked her in there, and she was claustrophobic. So she was like, Kenny, let me out. And he was like, no, not until you go on a date with me. Give me your phone number. She did. Oh, no, you're 53. She's only 53. That's too young. My mom was 60. My mom was 62. And my dad was 47, though. Vincent's mom can cook. Vincent's mom. She's so cute. She like orders like American food for me when we go there, like to California. There's one place that they live outside of LA, but it's where they live. It's very everything is Asian. Everything. The supermarkets, everything. The car dealerships. Mercedes-Benz, but it's like all like Japanese lettering. Like I don't know the lettering, but it's just like it's so fascinating over there. But she will find the one little chicken spot. In all of LA, or all of, it's called Hacienda Heights. So it's outside of LA. All of Hacienda Heights, she finds the one little chicken place for me. It's really cute. I thought about writing a book. I should write a book. Maybe I'll look into that. Now that I've got more, where I can have someone help me with that. But we are going to do the Nancy Grace podcast next time I come on. She has a couple, I think, maybe new ones. So maybe we'll just do a couple of them. But I am going to jump off of here. I'm going to let my dogs out because I can hear the gray one. She's crazy. Oh, and if you guys were wondering, I saw the little dog here. Murphy Gonzalez, the dog, Kaylee's dog, does have a Instagram. If you want to follow Kaylee's dog on Instagram, you might cry a little. The pictures are very sweet. And I think he has like 66,000 subscribers last time. When I was on there. Oh, I can hear my little girl. Oh, look. Right there. So, yeah. Now he has 80,000. He just had 66 yesterday. Look at that. That's so cute. The video's really sweet. We're on the one right here. I'm not going to play it because I'll cry like a baby. But it's really sweet. It's just like him running. So, the doggy running when he was a puppy. And then there's him and Jack. So, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. See, we are a group here. We really are. Isn't that crazy that you find your people? You find your people. I'm telling you what, guys. I'm going to come on and I think maybe I'll do that tonight. Or maybe I'll do it tonight or tomorrow. Either night, because we're going to do the contest drawing tomorrow night anyway. So one of these, we'll just do a Q&A, and we'll just sit here and we'll just chit chat and we'll get to know each other, because we do have like a big following. I have a larger following now, so I feel like we all need to get to know each other. West Covina, is that over by there? Because I don't know that area very well, but if you are you look like you're from California. I bet you are. And I bet your skin already looks flawless. I bet you take the best pictures ever. Because I love California sunlight. It's the best. Like the pictures, like the picture quality, take my picture all day. All day. And it's just right next to it. I'll have to look at, I'm going to have to write it down. I'll have to write that down. Because my boyfriend will know. He'll be like, I bet you we've been there. He'll be like, Tanya, that's where blah, blah, blah is. And I'll be like, oh, yeah. So I'll have to ask him. But yeah, he came out here to go to school. Came out here to go to Ohio State. And then he met me. Poor guy. So his mom and my mom would have been polar opposites, which would have been like the best ever. Would have been the greatest. Those two together would have been the best pair. It would have been hilarious because my mom is like a beer drinker. Not like my mom was very dainty, never like needed a man for anything, but at the same time could be very loud if she needed to be. And then his mom, on the other hand, Japanese, very quiet, very, I don't know how to explain her. She's just very quiet, very, put together. I love her. And then our fathers, my dad's Italian, his dad's Italian. And my dad's very loud, and his dad passed, but his dad was very like quiet, very, you know, sheltered, more put it together. So my boyfriend's a complete introvert. Go Eagles. Every time you say that, I'm going to say go Eagles. But I will see you guys tonight or tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. Don't forget to go follow Little Murphy on Instagram. Isn't he the cutest? But I will see you guys all in the next live. I love you guys all so much. Thank you guys for sharing your day with me. And don't forget to like the video on your way out. Bye, guys.